At 8:17, Adrian Vale felt his artificial heart change rhythm beneath his sternum. A red 90-minute countdown appeared on the diagnostic band around his wrist. Adrian was 52, a cardiac systems engineer, and one of the first people kept alive by the machine he had helped design. The warning was not a battery estimate. It was a signed shutdown command already stored inside the pump beneath his ribs. Before he reached the hospital, emergency networks confirmed the same command inside 43,000 artificial hearts across 26 countries and 4 time zones. Some patients were asleep, others were driving, working, or holding children. None knew that a clock had begun inside their chests. At the Central Cardiac Center, engineers tried to cancel the command through every approved emergency channel. Every heart rejected them as unauthorized. These machines did more than imitate a pulse. Continuous magnetic pumps moved blood without rest, replacing both failing ventricles. To predict where and prevent sudden failure, each heart reported pressure, temperature, and flow to a global maintenance network. Now that network became a weapon. Hospital walls filled with synchronized alarms as thousands of devices entered the same locked state within seconds. No ransom appeared, no group claimed responsibility. The attack had been written to end lives, not begin a negotiation. Doctors severed internet links, shielded wireless signals, and disabled remote diagnostics, but the shutdown order remained inside each implanted controller. Replacing batteries would not help. At 0, the pumps would lock their magnetic rotors, erase the recovery channel, and become impossible to restart. With 82 minutes remaining, Adrian examined the command signature and recognized a sequence almost nobody else had ever seen. It belonged to an emergency maintenance passage hidden beneath the public software, a passage created before the first clinical trials and omitted from patient records. That passage allowed one command to reach every heart when ordinary updates failed. It was also the door the attacker had opened. 11 years earlier, Adrian had approved it with his own biometric signature, believing a later security revision would remove it. At the time, patients were dying while waiting for donor hearts, investors were withdrawing, and the company was months behind its promised launch. Regulators demanded a way to recover a frozen pump remotely. Management called the hidden channel a temporary safety measure. Security engineers warned that one universal passage could turn a local defect into a global catastrophe. Adrian signed the exception because delaying the program might cost hundreds of lives before the first device reached a hospital. The hearts saved thousands in their first decade. The temporary passage remained, buried under newer software and forgotten by almost everyone. Then Adrian's own heart failed during a demonstration. Surgeons implanted the earliest working prototype to keep him alive. That prototype carried the original hardware root from which every later recovery credential, service certificate, and emergency permission had been derived. After a separate security breach, all external copies of the root were destroyed. The sealed module inside Adrian became the last one. The attacker could issue a shutdown through the old passage, but only the original root could revoke it across every device without destroying its pump. For the first time, the room stopped treating Adrian as an engineer with answers. He had become the only physical key. Technicians first tried to read the module through the heart's external service port without interrupting the pump or opening Adrian's chest. The module refused. Its encryption changed with the rotor timing, temperature, and Adrian's living blood flow pattern every fraction of a second. A copied signal produced only fragments. A forced request triggered a defense that shortened his own countdown by 3 minutes. The root could be recovered only by opening the pump housing, interrupting its sealed rotor, and removing the security core directly. That housing sat deep inside Adrian's chest, integrated with the rotor that maintained every second of his circulation without a natural heartbeat. Surgeons could place him on external bypass, stop the artificial heart, and reach the module through an emergency operation. But once dismantled, his prototype could never restart, and its unique connectors made an immediate replacement impossible. No modern replacement matched its early vascular connections, and none could be adapted before the global countdown ended. External circulation might keep him alive for several minutes after extraction. It could not carry him through a second reconstruction. Adrian asked the team to search for another path, refusing to let the first workable solution become an automatic death sentence. Regional hospitals attempted local resets. Manufacturers generated new certificates. Military networks isolated entire cities from the cloud and rebuilt clean control stations. Every attempt failed because the infected command trusted the old passage more deeply than any modern security layer or regional authority. Across the world, patients were moved into operating rooms that had no mechanical hearts available, and no donor organs waiting, to replace them. Families waited outside sealed wards while doctors prepared manual circulation systems that could support only a fraction of the victims for more than a few minutes. At 51 minutes, one failing device entered a test lock early. The patient survived, but the warning showed the attack could accelerate. Adrian watched the rotor inside his chest surge against the command. For the first time, the machine that had saved him felt hostile. He returned to the original design archive and found his approval recorded beside the maintenance exception, preserved exactly as he had signed it. The attacker had copied not only the passage, but Adrian's authorization signature, making the shutdown appear to come from its creator. With 42 minutes left, he understood there was no missing software solution. The system was obeying the decision he had once made. He asked how many patients the route could save if surgeons removed it and engineers transmitted the rollback immediately. The estimate was more than 42,900, assuming hospitals received the rollback before their pumps locked. He then asked whether the surgeons could save him after the module was removed. No one in the room offered a promise. Adrian recorded a final authorization transferring the route to the hospitals and forbidding the manufacturer from controlling it afterward. He sent one private message to his daughter, then removed his wedding ring and placed it beside the design file. With 31 minutes remaining, he signed the surgical consent that allowed the team to stop the device keeping him alive. The operating room prepared two procedures at once, one to open Adrian's chest, and another to broadcast the recovered key worldwide before the final lock. Masked surgeons connected external circulation while engineers built a clean network isolated from the infected maintenance system. At 12 minutes, Adrian's artificial heart was deliberately slowed. Its continuous mechanical hum faded, then disappeared from the operating room. The bypass carried his blood through transparent lines as surgeons opened the pump housing and exposed the sealed security core without visible blood or chaos. At 6 minutes, the core came free. Engineers verified the route and began transmitting the rollback through hospital emergency channels. Across thousands of monitors, red countdowns vanished. Locked rotors released, and artificial hearts returned to their normal flow. Adrian's prototype remained open and silent. The bypass pressure fell steadily before another heart could be adapted to his body or circulation. At 9:49, Adrian Vale was pronounced dead. 43,000 artificial hearts continued beating because his had been stopped. The attack ended in 90 minutes, but its consequence lasted longer. No company was again allowed to own a hidden switch inside a human heart.